Good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate you coming to be with us today on what is an historical day for the Department of Safety and Homeland Security and the Tennessee Highway Patrol. You know, I always like to say that when you make big decisions in Nashville, you announce those decisions in the shadow of the Capitol, the General Assembly, and the Supreme Court. And that's where we find ourselves today. I want to thank the members of the General Assembly that are here today, Chairman Bailey and others, members of the Cabinet, Director Mark Wynn of the TBI and others. We are here today to really announce a transition, two major announcements within that transition. One of those announcements is the retirement of the Colonel of the Highway Patrol, Tracy Trott. Tracy has devoted 40 years of his life to the Tennessee Highway Patrol. He not only is a colleague, but he's a friend. Many of you know that when I wore the uniform that all of you were in the back. He was my sergeant when I was a trooper. So we have had a long journey together to the courtyard of the Tennessee Tower today. And I would sum his service up this way. This is a man who emboldened the spirit of a Tennessee State Trooper. He got his education. He moved through the ranks of the Highway Patrol. He didn't care to come to Nashville to do that. He was appointed to command positions by 4 different commissioners. At least one of those is here with us today, Commissioner Mitchell. Thank you for being with us. To serve as the 13th Colonel of the Tennessee Highway Patrol. That's not many colonels in the history. So it's a big deal. And I would leave you with 2 thoughts before I introduce the governor of our state. If you want to recognize what he has done in almost 8 years as colonel, I would point you to this statistic. The lowest fatality rates since 1963 are under this man's tenure. We now, during his tenure, have suffered 170 plus less fatalities a year for the 8 years that he has been Colonel of the Highway Patrol. 170 people in this state a year over an 8-year period are with their families because of the leadership and the men and women of law enforcement in this state working with the Highway Patrol. That's a big deal. And Colonel, as I leave the podium, I would say this. I look at the Tennessee Tower in the background. It's 30 floors. It's a long way to the 30th floor, but the 30th floor is the top, and you're leaving at the top. You have made your mark on this state, this agency, and the men and women that have followed you during your time as Colonel of the Highway Patrol. So you're leaving from the 30th floor. This will begin a transition, and the governor will have more to say in a minute, but we'll go through a transition of colonels because that's the way things should be. That's orderly, and in these days of public safety crisis, it's the right thing to do to make sure that everyone knows who's in charge. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to join me in welcoming the 49th Governor of the state of Tennessee, Bill Haslam.
Thank you and good afternoon. So if you're listening to Commissioner Perkey there, you heard that I think Colonel Trott, you're the 13th Colonel, is that right? And there are 49 governors. So the message is governors come and go, but colonels tend to stay around longer and have a deeper impact, and that's a good thing. In Tennessee, hopefully we've established a tradition that the folks that lead our law enforcement are not there for political reasons. They're there because they put the safety of the men and women of Tennessee first. And Colonel Trott, thank you. The numbers speak for themselves in terms of the lower fatalities, in terms of the number of folks who serve. And let me just thank all those of you who are in uniform and those of you who used to be in uniform but have moved up to a coat and tie or a dress. Thank you. I'm incredibly proud to serve with all of you, and it gives me great honor. But Colonel, on behalf of 6.6 million Tennesseans, many of whom that we feel like are still alive because of the work you and your men and women do, I thank you on behalf of the state of Tennessee. So it is now my pleasure to introduce the 14th Colonel in the history of the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Lieutenant Colonel Derek Stewart has been a 30-year employee, began working the roads, ran the Law Enforcement Training Academy for a while, has been the Lieutenant Colonel in charge of all all road personnel and all uniform personnel for how long?
About a year. Sir.
About a year, okay. And it is now my pleasure to introduce the next Colonel of the Tennessee Highway Patrol, Colonel Derek Stewart. As he comes up, let me say something. It's always worth it to notice when history gets made. You will notice that Colonel Stewart or soon-to-be Colonel Stewart, is the very first African American to lead this organization. But that's not why we promoted him. We promoted him because he is the best, most qualified, has the right track record. We're thrilled. We're thrilled that we get to make this appointment. We're doing it because he is the very best person to lead this incredibly professional group of men and women. Let me present to you now Lieutenant Colonel, but soon to be Colonel Derek Stewart.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone that's here today. I want to begin my comments by first and foremost, I give honor to God, and I want to thank Him for this tremendous opportunity and privilege that's been afforded to me today. I want to thank Governor Haslam and Commissioner Perkey for placing their trust in me to head the THP. I am humbled, honored, and happy to accept this responsibility as Colonel of one of the finest organizations in the country. I vow to continue to lead the department in a positive and professional manner and to keep the THP as a strong, hungry, and compassionate leader in Tennessee and across the country. I want to thank my family. I want to thank my family for without their love and their support, this challenge simply would not be worth it. I want to also thank my fellow troopers all over the state who have put themselves in harm's way every day, not because they have to, but because they are committed to the citizens of this state. And I thank you for your service. I thank you for what you do every day to keep us all safe. Finally, I want to thank my mentor, Colonel Trott. Sir, thank you for your commitment and dedication to the department. Serving with you has been my honor. It has been said that success is not measured by how high you climb, but it's by how many people you brought with you. And by that metric, sir, your career has been a tremendous success. The true story of the THP cannot be told without a large chapter devoted to you and to your contribution to the THP and this state. So I want to thank you for your leadership, thank you for your service, and thank you for your support. Colonel, as a final send-off, your service has been tremendous to us and to all of us. And it's been my honor to serve with you. I want to give you a final salute, and I thank you. I thank you for this opportunity. THP, present arms. Order arms. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. Many of you that know me know that I'm a very emotional person. And in fact, the governor told me one time that he paid me to worry and said I'd done a very good job at it. But It's all I can do today to remain professional and have a professional bearing. I've known this man for 35 years and interacted with him. Not only was he a supervisor at one time, he's been a colleague and he is a friend. His family, his wife Mary is here today, dear friends of my family over the years from East Tennessee. But it's my honor and privilege to introduce the 13th Colonel of the Tennessee Highway Patrol, Colonel Tracy Trop.
Well, as the Commissioner and the Governor have said, I have indicated my intent to retire from the THP and in my 40-year career on May 31st, 2018. Obviously, this is a difficult decision for me, leaving a department where I've devoted my whole adult life to. I want to thank my wife and family for their support and understanding during this time of my life. This job takes a great deal of my time and focus away from that family. I want to also thank the Governor for his support during my 8-year term as Colonel. I want to thank the 3 commissioners that I worked for during those 8 years, Commissioner Mitchell, who appointed me originally, Commissioner Gibbons, and Commissioner Perkey. I also want to thank Commissioner Gerald Nicely from the Bredesen administration, who brought me to Nashville to serve with Colonel Walker as a major and a lieutenant colonel. Looking back over the last 8 years, I really had 4 general things that I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to be the hardest working person in the agency so I could always ask others to do more. I wanted the THP to have a focused enforcement strategy that made our state safer. And we've achieved that with the 175 fatalities per year reduction in my 7 full years as colonel compared to the 7 years previous to my administration of the THP. That accounts for over 1,200 lives saved. I wanted us to have a national footprint and be revered as innovative leaders in traffic safety. I leave my post as the sitting General Chair of the IACP State and Provincial Division, representing all state police organizations and provincial departments in Canada. This is a position that no Tennessee colonel has ever held. Many people in our organization also serve on national boards, confirming the strength of our organization. Now, other state police organizations regularly seek our advice and visit our facilities for guidance and direction. I also wanted to put into place procedures, customs, and programs that would stand the test of time and improve the agency. We developed the first predictive analytics program in the country aimed at reducing traffic fatalities, and our traffic incident management program to protect first responders and reduce secondary crashes is recognized as the best in the country. We recognize the great work of our employees with awards and ceremonies never held before. Our hiring and promotional procedures have set protocols that remove any hint of unfairness. The accepted customs of hard work to save lives with our enforcement and education permeates throughout the department. I'll leave the assessment of my success to you and the future. I've been blessed to work with great people and have a tremendous support staff. To say I've been lucky would be an understatement. For a long time, I've expressed my recommendation to the Commissioner and the Governor about my successor, and I'm very pleased that they accepted my recommendation with the promotion of Lieutenant Colonel Stewart. In passing the reins of leadership to Lieutenant Colonel Stewart, I have no doubt that our best days are ahead of us. The number one job of a good leader is to prepare someone to take your place. I believe I've done that. I wish him and all the leaders of the department the best. In a recent IACP meeting, I heard a long retired colonel from another state say this. He said, "I won't miss the zoo, but I'll miss the animals." I'll miss the animals too. I thank you for the support and the opportunity to lead this department. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the media, or we'll just have a veil here. Thank you all for coming. It's a big deal. The person who leads the 1,000 members of the Tennessee Highway Patrol, it's important who that person is, and I think we have shown today that not only have we had a colonel that established the standard, but we have another standard bearer that is ready to take it on. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.